Okay. Good evening, everybody. Okay, Sean, go ahead with your question.
Okay, see, you have to see my screen.
Let me make you presenter. Go ahead.
So you can see my screen. Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Now see, I have got several Spring packages over here.
Sure.
Okay. Now this one, the third one, C, Spring 01C, that's also a Spring package. And it has got annotations like this.
Sure.
But only that one doesn't show with S. But other ones you see, they are marked with S. But only this one is not showing S. This project, this package.
Okay.
I don't have any problem with that, but is that a problem?
I don't think so.
But why is that happening?
I also don't know. Let's take a look at it. It is a Spring managed bean at component. How is your Spring config XML looking? Holy cow! You have these
It's
many
all,
Spring
all
config
no,
XML.
no, 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 no. Commented, all commented. It's only this line is effective.
Uh-huh. I don't know which one
Have,
it's reading. That's not a
no,
problem. Yep.
it's reading that. That I can show you
Okay. No,
because
no,
you
no.
see
We
over
don't need
here.
to show. Well, no. I'm saying simple.
Uh-huh.
It could be Eclipse anomaly. That's it. Can't say more
Mhm.
than that.
Okay. Okay, then forget it. It's not so important. Okay, then one more thing I saw.
Yeah.
That is, you do sometimes project clean. What does that do? This project clean?
Project clean, what it does is it will completely delete all the binary files, which is your dot class files, and then
Oh,
recompile the whole project again.
okay, got you. That's fine. That was a theoretical question.
So, yeah.
Okay, that's enough. Okay. Now, another thing is, you while teaching in the tape where you taught callback,
Okay.
in the end of that tape, you did some work with eShop 4. And
Okay.
over there, see, you put springconfig.xml under webinf.
Right. That's right.
But I understand that springconfig.xml should be under resources. But why was that?
Spring config XML can be in resources. It can
That's
be
where it's
in
supposed to.
it can be in WebINF JSP too. It can be. It's just that I don't know why we shouldn't have here duplicate, right? It seems to be duplicate, right?
Possibly. Well,
So
probably so. Actually, I was just seeing
yeah,
along.
it's copy paste from somewhere, but the previous project. This is eShop 4. Probably when I copied from eShop 3, I must have left it like that. But I wanted to say something though.
Hmm.
Uh,
Nobody can.
Venkat, excuse me.
Yeah.
I can't see his screen until
Okay,
now.
I
So
can
is
show
it
you.
for
Yeah,
everybody or is it only for?
yeah. For everybody, you should be able to see.
I
Everybody
Can
can
you
see it?
see?
I can see.
Okay.
Okay, Yuri can see.
Okay.
Venkat can see.
Uma, you can't see it?
Yeah, I can see.
You can or can't?
Can.
Okay.
Yes, affirmative.
Samata is not seeing it.
Mata can't see
No,
it.
I
No.
can't see the screen.
In
No big deal. No big deal.
web INF, web INF, there is your eShop servlet XML. It should be there. But Spring or config XML, we also put in SRC main resources.
Resources, I know. I've already said that. That's where it's supposed to be.
I
Yeah,
wanted
What
to
I'm
but
saying
your
is this.
eShop servlet
Can I
XML, we can put in a web INF.
can I pitch in?
Yeah.
Okay. If you're using Spring MVC,
Hmm.
you are right by convention, Madhavi, that it should be in by convention again, in WebINF, your servlet name hyphen servlet.xml, okay? But here, I don't think we are using Spring MVC at this point, but it doesn't matter. The point is you put your Spring config XML wherever you want to. So why did we put here? It must be a copy paste thing from previous project.
Okay.
But I wanted to say that it doesn't matter. Because you can read it, right? Class path : Spring config XML. You can read it from source main resources. Again, class path : /webinf/JSP /Spring config XML. It doesn't matter where you are. You properly read it. Simple.
Okay, fine. So it's not a purposeful thing.
Nope.
I was thinking that whether some change took place from eShop 3 to eShop 4, which is why. But in the eShop 4 application, when I really checked it out, it's not there.
Okay.
Springconfig.xml is not in that place.
Right.
Under web. It's in the
must
usual
be
place.
somewhere an interim thing.
Okay.
While we are playing, we must have copied and pasted, and then later would have cleaned up. So don't know.
Okay. Gotcha.
But it doesn't matter. My point is, doesn't matter. That's the most important thing.
Okay. Got it.
As
No
long
problem.
as you specify your path, it doesn't matter where you put it. Simple.
No problems. I got you.
Even with Spring MVC, it doesn't matter. With Spring MVC, you can configure it, but you don't need to if you go by convention. That is Madhuri's point. Okay?
Yeah, I see her point now. Okay, no problem. Actually, I'll be starting Spring MVC just today.
Okay.
I have started that just now. That's why I had this question, but it's all resolved. Thanks. Now everybody, now take it over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can everybody see my? Yeah. 1 second. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Now, yes, Madhavi, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to put some images in my eShop final, but I am trying, but I can't do that. Can I share my screen now?
We'll do it later. That's yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, you can. Probably after class. Probably you can. Other people will help. I will help. So no big deal. Okay. That's it's minor thing. So. Okay. So today we'll be continuing the front-end fun. So we had some fun in the last class about Bootstrap and front-end. So far, out of the 3 important components of front-end, we have covered 2, HTML and CSS. So Bootstrap is mainly about CSS. Bootstrap provides the CSS classes, and we'll have to just use them to make our website look good, right? So HTML is all about the content, right? CSS is all about styling, and JavaScript, the third part, is all about behavior. So what exactly do I mean by behavior? That is what gives life to a page. So when you click on something, you want something to happen. Okay. So when you click on something, you want to validate fails, or you want to dynamically, based on some actions that user does, you want to change the look and feel, or you want to change the behavior of the application. That is JavaScript. So it gives a lot of dynamism to your web application. But one thing I want you to understand is that, like HTML and CSS, JavaScript is also pure front-end technology. Your browser will have something called JavaScript engine. So JavaScript is nothing. It is a programming language. You will write instructions for browser to do certain things. So your browser will come with the JavaScript engine, which will parse the JavaScript, understand the JavaScript, and execute the JavaScript, and applies the behavior based on whatever you wrote in JavaScript. Okay, so without JavaScript, pretty much web is so boring. This is what make web really fun. Okay, otherwise it's just HTML and then static CSS. So whatever the style that your page has, whatever the style it has got loaded with, you can't change any of that. You can't change the behavior, you can't change the style, you can't change any of that. So whatever you got loaded with, you got HTML from somewhere, and your browser will paint it, and that's it. You can't do anything on top of it. But with JavaScript, you will bring a lot of dynamism, a lot of fun to the web application. And undoubtedly, unarguably, JavaScript is the most popular programming language in the world. To repeat, JavaScript is the most popular programming language in the world. It's not Java, it's not C#, it's not any other programming language, it's not Ruby, anything. It's JavaScript. So JavaScript is so ubiquitous that every web application, it does not matter whether it's server side, whether you are building with Java. On your server side, you may be building with Java. Server side, you may be building with C#. Server side, you may be building with Perl or Ruby, whatever the programming language is, the front end, JavaScript is the language that every browser can parse it and executes it, and gives behavior to your web pages to make your to do certain actions, to make your web page dynamic. So that is why it is so important to learn JavaScript. So can you achieve the same with any other language on the browser side? No. If you want to be compatible across all these browsers, we have Chrome, we have Firefox, we have IE, we have Safari. Okay, everyone has its own JavaScript engine, but JavaScript is standard. Okay, so it's Java and JavaScript are completely different languages. So I don't even know how Java actually went into the name of JavaScript, but that's what it is. It's a purely browser, purely on the front end. In the recent days, JavaScript became so popular that it has been taken to the server side as well. So the JavaScript engine is actually part of the browser. It has been part of the browser. Your Safari comes with its own JavaScript engine. Your Chrome comes with its own JavaScript engine. But recently, what Google Chrome did was that sometime back, it actually separated out the JavaScript engine. And you can plug in the JavaScript engine, whatever the JavaScript engine of your choice, you can plug into the browser. You can do that one too. So it's separated out. Architecturally, they separated out. So now you can run this JavaScript engine even on the server side. So that's where the programming languages, I don't know whether you can call the programming language, but the things like Node.js came into picture. These are server-side components. So you'll use JavaScript on the server side. But we're not talking about that. We will be focusing purely on the front end. So to write JavaScript, what you need is a simple HTML page. Okay, you write your HTML. I'll show you. Let's start with the simplest JavaScript application that's possible. A JavaScript simple HTML page with minimalistic JavaScript. So sure, I mean, I'm just taking dynamic web project just to show you, but you don't need a web application. Sorry, you don't need a separate web application also. You can directly open, if you have a HTML page, you can directly open it in your Chrome or in your browser, right? So, but I created this web application. So in web content, I'm going to put it, I'm going to create a HTML file called JavaScript or test.html. Okay, so here, let's say that I have a H1 or H2. Okay, I have something like welcome to my store, right? So now let's go ahead and run this guy on our server. And then let's go ahead and start JavaScript / test.html. So welcome to my store, right? It's such a simple thing. So let's say that I have a button. So I want to put some, when I click on something, JavaScript, by the way, is mainly an event-driven programming language, meaning when an event happens on the browser side, your JavaScript functions get called. So JavaScript has something called a function. JavaScript function is very similar to your Java methods. That is where you write the actual JavaScript code. Okay, so when an event gets fired, your JavaScript code will get triggered. I wanted to show you what happens. So my goal here is that, so let's say without delay, I wanted to show you with an example. So I wanted to put a button here. Okay, once I click on button, I'll change this text. Or that may be too much for now, but I'll probably change the background color of the screen. Okay, so let me show you how we can do that. So now we'll say button type equal to button, and then I'll say click me. Okay, so once you click on it, I mean, nothing is happening, right? This is your simple HTML. And all of your CSS goes into a separate CSS file. We know that, and how to include the CSS files, etc. Now, similarly, your JavaScript can go in a couple of different ways. Let's talk about one at a time. If you want to write your JavaScript in an HTML, okay, all you need to do is you just include a tag called script. You don't even have to, it automatically gave you this type, but you don't even need this one. The default script is JavaScript. The default language that it supports is JavaScript. Okay, so within this is where you are going to write your JavaScript code. So typically in JavaScript code, what you would write here is JavaScript functions. Your function is very similar to your Java methods. Okay, so all you can do is that something like, this is your function, change background color, because I wanted to change the background color of it, right? This is how it looks. With the keyword function, your function name, and parenthesis. Within this parenthesis, you can expect the arguments. And now this is your function body. So this is where you're going to define your function. This is right. So with JavaScript, what you can do is, we know the complete HTML, right? So this whole thing is HTML. In HTML, there is a concept called DOM, Document Object Model. You know what is DOM? Document Object Model is nothing but DOM. Your document object model is nothing but the complete HTML tree. Whatever you see this one here, right? So here you have a head, you have a body, within that you have a H2, within that you have some HTML, and you have an element called button that's of the type, there is an attribute called type. So this whole thing is document object model. Your tree structure of HTML nodes is nothing but DOM, document object model. So you have various elements here. You have a body element here. You have a H2 element here. You have a button element here. You can get access to the complete DOM using JavaScript. You can get access to any element of HTML using JavaScript, and you can change the behavior of it. That's where the dynamism come into picture. So every element in HTML typically has an ID. We looked at, when we talked about CSS, we talked about CSS selectors, right? So in CSS selectors, we have element selectors, we have ID selector, we have a class selectors. So what is an ID selector? Well, every element will have an ID. So let's say that I have this body element. Okay? I have this body element. Let's say I want to give an identifier to this one. What does ID do? ID gives a name to a particular tag. That's a unique identifier within that page. That is what an ID. This is like your primary key in your database table. So every field, it's a good idea to have an ID so that you can distinctly identify that particular element. So I'm going to say that my test body or my body. Okay. Now, how do I change the background? So how do I change the background? So let's say style. I'll say background color equal to :blue, right? Right? So let's go back and here, see, it's in blue color. But this is not what I'm looking for. This is a static, boring page. I want to change the background color when I click on this. When I click on it, there is an event that gets triggered, and I want to call the JavaScript function. Since the JavaScript has access to the complete DOM, I want to get access to my body tag using this ID, and then I want to give this attribute. Everybody on the same page? I want to get the body element. So to start with, I don't want to have it. See here, the beauty is that I can change, I can give this behavior dynamically. So this is how I see it. Okay. Now what I want to do is, when I click on this button, I want to call this JavaScript function. So where do I do that? In your button, there are various events. One of them is on click. So when I click on this button, please call this JavaScript, is what I'm saying. Okay, so then this JavaScript function gets called. Now, before doing anything, let's test this one and see if it works. How do I test it? Well, there are a couple of ways. One of the JavaScript inbuilt functions called alert. This is an object called window. You can say window.alert, or you just say alert because window is a default. So just say alert. Change background color has been called. And then this is a JavaScript statement. Every JavaScript statement ends with semicolon. And then you can write one more JavaScript statement, like exactly how we do it in Java. Click me. See it? Change background color has been called. So when you click on it, this is the beauty. When you click on it, the JavaScript function is getting called. Alert, you can say, alert is not like a sysout. So sysout, who can see the sysout? Only Java developers can see the sysout on the server side. Anyone can see on the front end? Nope. But this one, user is getting affected with this kind of alert. So this is not equivalent to sysout. I will tell you there is an equivalent to sysout. I'll talk about that in a second. But this one is not. If you want to warn people, it says that, hey, you are trying to do something naughty, so you can't do it. Something like that. This is an alert. You are alerting the users. Okay? I just used it to show you what happens here. Now this is not fun. We can get it. We just tested that my JavaScript function gets called. Now that's not the fun. The point is, as I told you, I can get the complete DOM. Your JavaScript will have access to the complete DOM. You can get any object with ID, with a couple of other ways. But the most popular one is ID. So how do I get, my intention is to change the background color of the screen when I click on it. That's my functionality, right? So what I want to do is, I want to get handle to the body, because if I want to change the background color of a screen, I need body. And then I need to give an attribute called style with the value background color, colon, whatever I want to do it. Let's say blue. Right? So first of all, how do I'll remove this guy. Okay, I'll leave it there and remove it in a second. So how do I get access to this node? Well, there is an object called document in JavaScript. Document has a lot of functions here. One of the functions is called get element by ID. Hey, give me an element by its ID. I will give you an ID. Can you give me access to that element? And my ID is my body. Okay? So now I got the complete body element. I'm going to store the return type of this one into a variable. So how can we assign something to a variable in JavaScript? Well, All you have to do is just say var, and then anything, any variable name, say body element. So var, this is how you're saying that it's a variable, and then body element is the variable that contains the element that we just got it. What element is that? That's a body element, right? Now, so what you can do is on this element, on this object element now, dot. Now, there is a method called set attribute. You are actually setting an attribute. We all know what is an attribute to an element. Body is a node or element. ID is an attribute. Value of the attribute is my body. Style is another attribute. And the value is that background dash colon blue. Right? So what is my attribute name? Style. So I want to change the style. I want to give this dynamic behavior. And then I want to give this guy like that. Like that. And then I'll change this guy. I'll remove it. See, I have my simple body. Everything is simple. To start with, everything looks simple. But now, when I click on this button, my JavaScript function is getting called, and there I'm getting the complete body element, and I'm adding an attribute. I'm setting an attribute called style with the value background dash colon dash color colon blue. So this is equivalent to this guy. But if I put it here, it's always there. I don't want this to be always there. I want this to be there only when a button is clicked. Agree? So I want regular page, but when I click on it, hey, look at it. That is what I mean by dynamism. So it started like this, and then once you click on it, you are changing the behavior of the page. How? With JavaScript. Your JavaScript is getting the DOM elements, and then you can set the attributes, and you can set the styling. You can do a lot more things, but this is the simplistic example. Did everyone get that?
No.
Yes. Everybody got it?
One
Yes.
thing I want to ask you.
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Can you show the screen? Yeah. See over here, your get ID you are doing. Okay. Now when you're doing body element is the variable. Dot
Right.
set attribute. So these attributes are getting set to that body element
You got it.
variable.
This is like your object reference, right?
Uh-huh.
Right?
Okay.
So this is like your object reference. Object reference dot calling a method. These are arguments. You're passing two arguments. One argument is what is your attribute name and what is the value of the attribute that you want to do it. Actually, I can show you the best thing is that let's observe this one. F12. Okay, F12 will give you the developer tools, right? Let's go like this. So let me load this guy. Everyone observe this one, okay? See here, body ID equal to my body, H2 welcome to my store, button type equal to button, etc. Right? Observe this one. I'm clicking on it. Observe here, okay? How it is changing it. See here. Once I click on it, it added this style equal to background dash color colon blue. Look at it. So this is what this second portion, this guy is what getting added by your JavaScript.
So whatever it's referring to, that one is getting added.
Exactly. See here, you are getting handle to the body tag here. You got handle to the body element, and now you are setting the attribute there to that body tag. Attribute ID is style, attribute value is this guy, as if you wrote like this. Simple. You saw it, right? Now how your Chrome is changing it, right? You saw this, right? This is exactly what Chrome is doing when you click on it,
Yeah.
because that is what you're trying to do here through JavaScript. Everybody got it, right? Pretty simple, right? So look at it. ID equal to my body, that's all. It doesn't have any styling at this point, but as soon as I click on it, see, it added style equal to background dash color colon blue. That is why it is changing. The color is getting changed to blue. Make sense? Now, let's say this is okay. I mean, this is such a simple thing. Let's say I want to change slightly behavior. Let's I want to write a little bit. I want to write a little bit of logic, right? So what I want to do here is that every time I click on this guy, my new requirement is that every odd time I click on it, it has to change the color to blue. Every even time it has to change the color to red. Let's see how we can do it. So here in my JavaScript, I'm going to define a variable. How do I define a variable? Like this, where number of times clicked equal to 0 to start with. I'm initializing it to 0. And if you look at it, JavaScript variable declaration, oh, by the way, like Java, this is an assignment operator. You are assigning 0 to this variable name. And now variable var says that it's a variable. So unlike Java,
one question.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Unlike Java, you are not saying this, you are not defining the type of the variable. You are not saying whether this is an int. You are not saying whether this is a string. You're not saying whether it's an object, date, whatever that one is. You're not saying it in JavaScript. It's a dynamic language. Java is a statically typed language. You have a Java compiler in between. Compiler is going to slap you that, hey, you define this variable as a string, and you are trying to assign 0 to it. You can't do that, buddy. Right? But here, based on your value, your JavaScript intelligently can detect what type it is. Okay, so if you do something like this, variable sum equal to 4 plus 5, it understands that, hey, 4 is an int, 5 is an int, plus means this guy is trying to add 4 plus 5, it's 9. Simple. But in Java, you can't do that, right? You have to define the types, right? But here, it can automatically detect that. So anyways, you have your number of times clicked, and now every time I'm called, I'm going to say that I'm going to increment this guy. You can use your Java's, it's exactly like Java style. What if you have integer and float? It will automatically convert it, and it can do it. So 6 plus 9.3, it will automatically scale up, and then it's going to do is you're going to get 15.3. You're going to get a floating point answer. So JavaScript can dynamically do that, Yuri. So every time I come here, I'm going to increase this number of times clicked. Now, I think we all know this shorthand operation means that number of times clicked equal to number of times clicked plus 1. I mean, it's a simple We have been writing Java for the last 4 months, right? So now what I want to do is that so like in Java, you have these arithmetic operators. You have plus, you have minus, you have multiply, you have division, you have modulus. This modulus will give you the reminder. In Java also, modulus will give you reminder. In JavaScript also, it gives you the reminder. So that is what I'm going to use it to see if it's a even number or odd number. So if number of times clicked modulus 2, if it's 0, if the reminder is 0, that means it's even, right? So in case of even, I'm going to do it with I'm going to change. So probably I can utilize this guy. I can put it outside, right? So so your body element that set attribute color equal to blue, right? So now here I'm going to do that. What I'm going to do, if it's an odd number of times clicked, then I'm going to change this to red. Understand? Look at it. So, and you can observe this guy in developer screens. F12 will take me to developer screens, and now look at it, how it's changing it, right? So it comes here, you can go to source, and then you can actually debug this guy. I'm going to show you later, but you can debug your JavaScript. It's pretty easy. This is your JavaScript. You can put just left click on it. This is a debug pointer, and you can come here and it will stop you there. You can go through line by line. You can do it. A lot of stuff. Okay, with the developer tools, especially Chrome is very powerful. Look at it, how it's changing it. See it. Okay. So if you want to do something like, yeah. Earlier somebody was asking, I think Showan, right? So is there any equivalent to sysout that for developers we can look at it? Yes, there is a. What we can do is that there is a console.log. If you do this, it's going to log this in console, in your browser console. So number of times clicked equal to, this is what is going to help us developers, right? So now console.log, this is like your system.out.println, and then this is your string, and then this is your int, and you're concatenating it. Exact same concepts as Java. This is exactly how you do it in Java too, right? Now F12 will take me, and then where is my console? Number of times clicked equal to 1. Number of times clicked 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at it. So it's actually printing in the console. Console.log will help you with that. Okay? Any questions so far? Interesting? It's pretty easy, right? Go ahead.
Can you please go to that screen?
Which screen?
The other one. Yeah.
You mean the console or?
Not the web page.
Okay.
Here,
yeah.
Yeah. See, here it has given the style, background color. These are all predefined, or we can just give this background color. Now it's all from the JavaScript, right? Or we can use any name there. Like it's not like variable, right? We have to.
Venkat, we lost you.
I'm sorry. I was speaking on mute. Yeah. So these are not variables. These are attributes. Okay. Like how
Yeah.
body ID equal to, right? See, all of these are attributes, right? Class equal to something. This is an attribute. And then style is an attribute. And then hidden is an attribute. All of this, on about, on click, on blur, on cancel, on click, this is an attribute. So all of these are attributes. So this is an attribute name, and whatever you put it here is an attribute value. We are giving one of the acceptable attributes. You can't say name equal
Yeah.
Uma. You know what I'm
I
saying?
understand that.
You can't
Yeah,
say that
yeah.
Uma is my attribute name, and I mean you can definitely give it, and it's going to add it, but your browser is not going to do anything about it, right? So how does browser behave if I give name equal Uma here? See here, it's actually complaining. It's saying that undefined attribute name. Hey, there is no attribute called name in body. Sorry, buddy. That's what it's saying.
Venkat, where is the complaint?
That's your Eclipse warning. It's saying undefined attribute. Your browser is not going to complain. It's going to ignore it because your HTML is loose strict mostly. But did you see that in Eclipse? Undefined attribute name.
Actually, I'm not seeing that.
See here.
I mean, oh, okay. Yeah, I see that. Oh, okay. I see. Got it. Thanks.
No problem. But did I answer your question, Uma? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I got it. So where can we find all the attributes that are available? Like
that's where your HTML and CSS and JavaScript come into picture. You have to read. See here your control space bar is giving most of it. See? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, got it. Yeah, thanks.
So similarly, if you go to H2, maybe these attributes are different. H2 may have more attributes, or H2 may have less attributes than body. These are all the attributes that go with H2. You know what I'm saying? All of those things are actually defined in DTD, document type definition, your HTML, wherever all of your grammar rules are. But nobody reads all of that. We just go read in W3 schools or anywhere, right?
So in one HTML page, we can use HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, all things, right?
Absolutely, you can. Since you asked, and I also wanted to, mention this point, you can put your JavaScript code in your page, okay, in couple of different places. One place is you can put this script, the whole script, inside your head. You can put this inside your head, or you can put this whole script inside your body also. Inside your body also, you can put it as soon as you start, or the preferred way is towards end. There is a reason. The reason is that if you put this complete script block in head, so this is where your DOM is, right? Your complete document object model. Document object model, how many tables we have, how many divs do we have, under the div, how many elements do you have? All of this is the complete DOM structure, right? The complete tree structure of your HTML document, right? That is inside the body. So if you're going to put this complete script in head, your head will be loaded into JavaScript before the body. So your HTML painting in the browser more technically speaking, your DOM will be loaded in JavaScript after JavaScript gets loaded into browser's memory, which is going to take slightly more time. If your JavaScript has 2000 lines, and if you put all of them in the head, first it has to load all of them into memory and then start painting your DOM. But if you do not want to wait, first I want this page to be displayed on the browser and then load the JavaScript. Loading the JavaScript can happen little later so that my users will feel that, wow, this page came up so fast. As soon as the DOM is painted, as soon as all the elements, table, div, all the fanciness is painted on the browser, then you're putting your script tag and loading your 20,000 lines of JavaScript, which is okay. Your user is not going to feel any pain. So that is why it's a good idea to put this JavaScript towards the end of the body tag. Right before closing your body tag is where generally we put it. Okay, so that your rest of your HTML will not wait for the JavaScript to get loaded into browser's memory. It's faster. Make sense? Everybody? And typically, like in CSS also you can have a page specific CSS, right? But what did I say? Generally, we have a lot of HTML pages, and all these HTML pages are going to use CSS classes. They're going to share a lot of CSS classes. So it's a great idea to put CSS classes in its own file, .css file. Similarly, all of your JavaScript functions, it's a fantastic idea. It's a great idea to put in its own JavaScript file. It's called .js file. And then you can definitely import that JavaScript. Okay. And then, so typically that's what we see it actually. We typically put everything in our own .js file, .javascript file, and then we just reference it here in your script. Okay. You can have as many script elements as possible in your HTML. You can have one more script like this. Okay. And you can start writing. Is there any reason, Shovan is asking, is there any reason to have more than one script elements here?
Oh,
unless you want to.
Would you have any reason?
Right, that's, yeah.
Like under a such situation, would you write like that?
Right. If you want to modularize it, if you want to separate JavaScript functions by functionality, you could definitely put it. So all the validation stuff in one script element, and all the styling, dynamic styling stuff, you can put it in another script element. But I do not see any value in doing that. Rather, I actually want to put it in its own JavaScript file. I will put all of them. I will put all of them into its own .js file. So I'll call it as validation.js. Definitely, I'll import the .js file. So I'll say that validation.js. So I'm importing validation.js, and I'm importing one more JS, something like styles.js. Okay, and then you can put one more jQuery.js. You can say bootstrap.js. So you can import as many JavaScript files as possible. Okay, And you can definitely have more than one script tags like this. Absolutely fine, but there's no reason for that. As I said, it's generally a very good practice to externalize the JavaScript, to put it in its own file. Your HTML should only have content. I'm going back to the fundamental point that your HTML should only have the content, your CSS should only have the style, your JavaScript, it should only have the behavior. So divide them based on their functionality. So let's go back and have a little more fun. So we saw that. I showed you the console log, how we can log it.
Venkat?
Yeah, go ahead.
How can we pass the arguments for that function? I mean, for example, actually, here is no need to pass the type, right?
Right.
This way, right. So in that case, can we pass any type of object for that?
Yes, you can. And we'll talk about that.
Okay.
Okay, we'll talk about that. So another important point that I wanted to say that here is that your JavaScript will have access to the complete DOM. It's not only for styling. Actually, JavaScript's biggest benefit comes from the fact that it can change the behavior. See here, welcome to my store, right? Once I click on it, well, I'm changing the background, that's fine. But I want to greet this guy differently. Once you click on it, I want to change this text. I want to change this H2, right? So let's understand this. Inside your body, you have a H2. Okay? Let's give an identifier to H2. We'll say that welcome note. Right? Let's say greeting. Yeah, greeting. Okay. So we are greeting him or her with welcome to my store, right? Welcome to our store. Maybe that's better. Okay. So greeting. We can get this element. Let's understand DOM for a second here. We have the body. Underneath the body, we have H2. H2 has the ID called greeting. And H2 has the inside that there is a HTML called welcome to our store. This is called inner HTML. Inside the node, whatever the HTML you have here, it's called inner HTML. You can change this guy. You can absolutely. This is where JavaScript power comes into picture. So let's get this H2. Let's get handle to this H2 and let's change the inner HTML. Look at it, how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to change the background color based on how many times he clicked on it. But irrespective of it, I'm going to get greeting element, right? Where greeting, I'm not calling it as greeting, greeting element because that's redundant. So document.getElement by ID, and then hey, give me handle to this greeting, right? So now what I'm going to do is that after changing my background color, I'm going to say greeting dot inner HTML equal to how do I change it? You clicked me. Do you want to shop? Or something like that, right? Okay. I'm just changing this guy, inner HTML. This is what the inner HTML, right? I'm going to change this guy. I'm getting the element here, greeting. How am I getting it? Document.getElement by ID. I'm getting an element with this ID and I'm changing the HTML here. That's actually pretty good dynamism there. So once you click on it, hey, look at it. You changed the background and then you said, you clicked me. Do you want to shop? You clicked me. Do you want to shop? If you want to do something like, if you want to change something like, you clicked me even number of times. You clicked me even number of times. I want to say that. And then you clicked me odd number of times. Okay. Now let's look at it. You clicked me odd number of times. You clicked me even number of times. You clicked me odd number of times. Even, odd. Getting it? Now I wanted to show you how it looks actually in the developer tools also. Let's go to element section. Observe, everyone observe this one. Observe the body also and observe this one also. H2 ID equal to greeting welcome to our store. Once I click on it, see how it changed it. Background color to red, and also you click me odd number of times. Observe that closely. See that? It's getting changed. Those two are getting changed every time I click on it. That's what your JavaScript is doing. Your JavaScript is playing with the DOM. That is the power of JavaScript. You can go bonkers with it. You can do any powerful, you can build any powerful websites. Okay? But this is the basics of JavaScript. Everything depends on these fundamentals only. There are more fundamentals, of course, but okay. You can do anything. You have your button, right? Let's go ID equal to click me button. Okay, I have this ID, and then let's get this guy, document dot get element by ID, get element by name, click me button, dot, let's say dot text. Okay, if you want to see what's out there, if you want to read it, okay, you can just say, you can just alert it, whatever that element text is, undefined. Okay, so that is, text is undefined, so probably that attribute is undefined. So I don't know what do I do here. So I have to write HTML, I have to come here and do all sort of things, right? So what do I do now? So the best way to debug this one is, if you have your HTML here, and go open up your developer tools and go to console here. Okay, and now go do this guy, document.getElement by ID, click me button. See that? You got, when you asked me to give an object with this ID or element with this ID, you got this one. Okay, now dot value, let's say value is nothing, dot text is undefined, you don't have any text. There is no function called text. Okay, so dot what else can you do? Give me the document, then dot value is blank, right? So if you give some value here, okay, or if you want to get the inner HTML, see that? document.getElement by ID, you got the click me button. So hey, give me an element with this ID, and then you got the complete object. Now, can you give me the inner HTML of that object? The inner HTML is this guy. This is inner HTML, right? This is click me. So now, can anyone guess what I'm trying to do here? What I'm trying to do here is that I'm trying to change that guy. So once I click on this button, I want to change this guy. Dot inner HTML equal to shop more. Observe it. Observe the elements here, right? So here you have click me here. See here how it changed it, shop more. So we changed the button itself. We changed the button itself. Click me became shop more. Can you imagine a scenario for this one? You show all of your products in your eShop. When anybody clicks on it, immediately using JavaScript, you say that added to cart or I'm in cart or something like that. You can change it. Look at it. Okay. So that's it. And I mean, this is really boring. So this background color, I don't like this change. I just wanted to show you, but look at it. What happened? Background color, I thought I saved it. Okay, yep. So you click me odd number of times, shop more, right? So you can change the font color of this guy. So how do I change the font color? How do I change the font color? Style equal to, style is your attribute name, and then style is your attribute name, and then attribute value is this one, right? So if you want to change that guy, absolutely you can do it. You can inline this guy, document.getElement by ID. What is that H2? Greeting, right? So I'll say greeting dot set attribute. Please add an attribute called style with the value color colon red. That's it. Now look at it. What happened? Oh, it's adding every single time without clicking also. Okay. See here. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. I wanted to take this guy out, right? I wanted to add only. Yep. Why are you doing it? Yep. So it's still loading it. So welcome to our store. Once you click on it, you change the text and you change the font. You click me odd number of times. Are you guys getting it? So you can do a lot of things with JavaScript. Very, very, very powerful and very popular programming language on the front end. If you want to play with this JavaScript, my recommendation is that you play like how I've been playing, and also you can go to your console and then practice, right? So let's say where sum equal to 2 plus 3. If you want to see if it's if you're writing a valid if you're writing valid JavaScript statements or not. Okay, see that? So where sum equal to 2 plus 3, and then I asked for sum, it gave me 5, right? So or you can do something like for this HTML, the one it's open right here, you can say document dot get element by ID greeting, right? See that? it gave me the whole element here. If you're asking for the whole element, okay, I want the inner HTML of this guy. Now you got the inner HTML. This is inner HTML, right? So you clicked me odd number of times. That is what the inner HTML for this right now, right? And now you change that guy, and then now you ask for it. Now you got welcome to our store. So it's very dynamic. So you can create a function here. Let's say function add variable A, variable B. I'm taking two parameters, and then say return A plus B. Unexpected token. Oh, sorry. You don't need var. In your function declaration, you don't need var, and then you ask add 3, 4, 7. So you declared a function and you invoke the function. You declared a function, okay, and you invoke the function without, ideally you need to write HTML and you write something, right? So you need some event, to be called, and then your JavaScript function will be called, and that's how you typically know. But you just want to practice. You want to write some functions. You want to invoke some functions. As Shailaja was asking just now, how do I create a function with some arguments? This is your function name, and then these two are the arguments. You don't have to say where, because it's a dynamic. I mean, we know that these two are variables anyway, right? These two are not constants. These two are variables. We know that already. And ideally, we have to give the type, but we don't have to give the type in JavaScript unlike in Java. In Java, we have to give the type because that's a statically typed language, but this one, it's a dynamically typed language. There is no compiler, just execution. Make sense? So I highly recommend you go to console and then play with your JavaScript and practice as much as possible there.
This console, that F12, you're getting it with F12. Now, when you are doing over here on the console, it will just show the results on the console itself, right? Just like a interactive tool, right?
That's right. This is mainly for developers. Yeah, exactly.
Now, how do you click it off? How do you click off the console and get back to the usual mode?
Here.
What?
Here.
1 second, let me
look at this one.
Okay, that one. Okay.
Close it. And then again F12, and then one more F12, F12. That also works.
Okay.
So F12 to open, F12 to close.
So I have to, in order to do that, let me try this. My screen. Function F12. Okay. Got you. Thanks.
No problem. Thanks. Everyone is having fun? Is it good? It's pretty interesting. JavaScript is always fun. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, it's always fun. This is one of those. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, has there been found any other use of JavaScript beside this, like file handling, reading files, and things like that? In any part of the industry, do they do that kind of work with JavaScript?
That's more of a server side, right? Client side, why would you ever want your browser to read the file? You know what I'm saying?
No, not in this kind of a situation. Like suppose with Python and all these languages, as we read files, just for that kind of purpose, do they use JavaScript just for flat coding?
Traditionally, no. Traditionally, we have all learned with the assumption that JavaScript engine is part of the browser and only browser has the JavaScript engine. That's how I grew up. I mean, that's how I have been learning for years. Okay, I've been coding. Well, I've never claimed I have a whole lot of experience with JavaScript. I think I told you guys 1,000 times, right? So anyways, the point is that, but at least architecturally, I'm always caught up on that. But architecturally, I've always used to think that JavaScript engine is part of the browser. IE comes with its own JavaScript engine. Safari comes with its own JavaScript engine. Chrome comes with its JavaScript engine, and JavaScript engine and browser are inseparable. That's the impression I've been under. But recently, Chrome has this JavaScript engine called V8. V8, like in car, right? 8-cylinder V8. So
the drink.
The Chrome has this V8 JavaScript engine. They actually separated out. The beautiful architecture is that, hey, Chrome comes with the V8 JavaScript engine, but you can plug in any JavaScript engine. Or better yet, we are shipping the V8 separately. So your Chrome definitely comes with V8, but if you want JavaScript engine in some other browser, you can definitely plug in that guy. So they actually separated out the JavaScript engine. So which makes the industry think that, hey, JavaScript doesn't have to be used only in the front end. Agree, it's part of the browser, but it can be separated out, and now you can put it anywhere. This is like your VM. This is like your Java virtual machine. You can put it anywhere. So that is why the server-side JavaScript, that is where the server-side JavaScript came into picture, and then it started picking up the attention. So people are like, oh, okay. So since people are so familiar with JavaScript, now they said, hey, I can install this JavaScript engine anywhere, even on the server side. And you send me some JavaScript from client to the server, and you use your JavaScript engine to parse it and execute it. You know what I'm saying? So that's a kind of a new trend, and that's where the Node.js kind of applications are coming into picture. So that's one of the JavaScript, server-side JavaScript framework called Node.js. Okay. But they have their, specialty applications, like where heavy socket reading and Netflix-like applications, networking kind of, special applications. So, but my point is that we are still using JavaScript for 95% of the times with the browser on the front end. Okay, I'm sure that's where you will end up working on too. Okay, did I answer your question, Shovan, Sailaja? On my way, all of you. In your console, one small point when you keep writing, right? When you keep typing, just use clear function here, like this, to clear your console. Just a small point I wanted to mention it. I just took a note here, so. Okay, so one of the most important uses of JavaScript is to do the validation, the client-side validation. So we talked about Spring MVC and server-side validation, etc. Right? But here actually, you have your browser and you have your server. If request comes all the way to the server, you are definitely using your Hibernate validator, your JSR 303 annotations, etc. to validate. Is that JSR 303? Yeah, those at not empty, at not null, those annotations. Java Bean validation, to be specific. I don't remember exact JSR for that. Do you know what is JSR stand for? Anyone? Have you heard of it? Did I ever use this word, this term before in the class? Java specification request. JSR stands for Java specification request. If you have some nifty idea to improve any of the Java features, or what you can do is you can propose and say that, hey, I think it's a good idea to have this one, and then any contributors can contribute to that, and if everyone agrees, then they'll create one Java specification request, and community will be working on it. This is a purely community based. So community will be working on it. That's how your Java Bean validation framework came into picture, by the way. Your not empty, not null, at pattern, all of those annotations. So anyways, I'm actually getting sidetracked. So that's all the server-side validation. My point is not the server-side validation. So it doesn't make sense to send the form all the way to the server and waste some bandwidth here and then waste some server-side resources. If you know for sure that this form is not valid, you know that your first name is required, your last name is required, your zip code is required, your state is required, all of these details are required. And you know that zip code can only be 5 characters, the length of 5, and it only takes numbers, and zip code cannot start with 0. So why not put all of those validations on the client side itself, wherever it's getting executed, wherever the HTML is, on their machine itself, not on our server machine, on their machine itself. Why don't we do some validation? Because your HTML, JavaScript, and CSS are all on the client side, all on the browser side, in their machines. We are using their machines resources. So why not use them? Even your mobile phone is having dual core, at least 2 cores these days. So why not push that as much as possible on the client side and get it validated properly, and then once the form is validated, just push it to the server. So your JavaScript is heavily used for the client side validation. I'm not saying that's the only usage. As I showed it to you just now, you can do magics with JavaScript with the inner HTML and changing the attributes, changing the styles, changing the DOM, changing everything, right? So we can use JavaScript to do the validation also. That's one of the powerful things. That's one of the useful things that we all use JavaScript for. Okay. I wanted to show you use JavaScript to do validation, how we can do the validation, etc., etc. Okay. If you don't have, nobody has any questions, then I'll jump in. Anybody? Okay, let's jump in then. So I'll call this as validation.html. Okay, and then I want to use Bootstrap definitely. Now you will understand probably more how we were using the Bootstrap earlier. So we are referencing to external CSS file. External CSS file. So let's reference our Bootstrap here. In the head, we want to have the CSS, and then in the body, towards the end of the body, we need jQuery and Bootstrap JavaScript files. This is how you'll have it. Okay, and you can write your JavaScript here, or you can say that script source equal to validation.js. Right? I'll put my validations here, and then this is our own JavaScript. This is our own JavaScript. So let's create one validation.js, and then I think that's it. let's go rock and roll. And then let's go test.html. Let me close it. Let me close this guy too. If I open anytime more than one project, I get confused. So I never want to do that. So we have our validation.html. So I'll have the validation JavaScript file. JavaScript source file. I'll call this as validation.js. So this is how you can externalize it. You can add your JavaScript functions here. Okay. So I'm going to add a function called function validate. Okay. And then I'm going to just say validate is called. I'm going to say just an alert to see if it's really getting wired up properly. Okay. And then I'll use simple h2. Welcome to validation.html. So we're done with test.html. Now we'll go to validation.html. Welcome to validation.html. So that's good. And now let's have a button. Button type equal button, and then click me on click will do. Sorry, we have a few on click validate, right? Like that. Once you click on it, yep, validate is called. Very good. So far we created a new JavaScript file. This is how we externalize it. We can write our own JavaScript here. We are clearly separating content from the actual JavaScript, right? That's the idea anyway. So this is really good. Now let's go ahead and create a form here. So I'll do a form here. Form action equal to something. I'm not going to worry about action at this point, but I'm going to do a label here. Label. My goal is that I'll have first name, last name. My inner HTML is going to be first name, and then label for field ID first name. Okay, and then I'm going to have my input type equal to text. Sorry. Input type equal to text, ID equal to, come on, ID equal to first name, name equal to first name, right? Now I'm going to have button, type equal to button, and then submit. I mean, it's routine stuff. We did it a lot of times. So we have your first name, we have your submit, all of this. So see here, my label and input, they're towards the complete left of it. How do I bring it to the center? In Bootstrap, how do I bring it to the center? Anyone? Anyone remembers?
Yeah, you divide the screen up into 12 columns. There's a way to bring it back.
Now, in general, whatever you put it, it will not go beyond that boundary. What is that called? You define everything inside container, Bootstrap container, right? Remember? How do you define Bootstrap container? You just define your, right? Remember? All you have to do is div class equal to just say container. That's all it takes. Does it take more than that? It doesn't. And then it's responsive also. See how it came to the front? And then, so my first name label and its corresponding field, they both are one form group. Okay, so my first name and its input, last name and its input, city and its input, state and its input, zip and its input, they are one pair. Okay, so you call them form group in Bootstrap world. You just combine both of them, you wrap both of them with its own div. Okay, and you just say that this is a form group. Class equal to form, like that. Okay, so this is one group here, and then you can add one more group like a last name group. This is one form group, and then what is the second form group? I'll have my last name and then my ID last name, name also last name, like that. And then this is going to be for last name. It's going to look like that, right? That's it, form group. And then first name, last name, and then what's the next one? City, state, zip code, right? City, we know this. State, ID state, and then finally the last one is zip code. So to make them inline, like to align all of these properly, what we can do is that we can say form group, and then there is another class called form inline. Okay, what it does, I'll show you with an example. So actually what you need to do is, even for labels, we need to give some special class, Bootstrap class called it's called control label. It's called control label. And then for the inputs, you need to give a class called form control. Don't think that I by-hearted or anything like that. So I knew it beforehand. I'm just using it. Sorry, I have to use it for label. So for my label, I'm going to say that it's a class control label. Class control label. Control label. Okay. Oh, somewhere something messed up. Oh, okay. What happened? Class equal to control label. It did not. Yep. Okay. Now look at this one. Observe this one here. This one has form control and this one does not have form control. So if you put the form control, you get that extra polished look. Okay. Yep, that looks good. So, and then on the total form, we have to say that they're form horizontal. Class equal to form horizontal. Yeah. Let's look at it. Form horizontal, form group, form inline, control label. Oh, okay. So now every field got polished look and everything is good, right? So now if we look at the bootstrap grid, pretty much we're not using the bootstrap grids, right? So what we want to do is that for all the labels, we want to use the first two columns. So I'm going to say for every label, I'm going to say that call medium and above, take the first two columns, right? Call MD2. Do you remember what it is? Yeah? Look at it now. It looks much better, right? Right? So this is what we kind of struggled in the previous class, and I said, okay, we'll talk about it in the next class. So all I'm doing is one of the approaches is that look at it. So I'm taking two columns here, and then that's it. Now our submit button is not part of the form group. That is why it's behaving odd. So what we'll do is, see here, it's let's wrap this guy also with the div. Sorry. And then I'm going to say class equal to form group. Come on, that's it. Oh, button type equal to button, and then now what we can do is that we also want to bring this guy somewhere in the middle, right? So we'll say that call. Did we talk about offset? So if we give offset here, call MD offset. If I do offset of 2, what it means is, hey, I want to give first 2 columns space and then you start from the third one, is what we are saying here actually. So in Bootstrap grid here, see? So first 2 have been offset, meaning we will not be used, and starting from third one, it will be used for this guy. Okay, and then for buttons, you can use a class called button. If you use button there, you use button and then button default. If you use a button default, this is how it's going to look. Okay, so by default, this is how the Bootstrap buttons look. But if you want some some emphasis to the button, then you can say, hey, button primary, add a class called button primary, and then take a look at it. This is how your form is going to look now. It looks much better than before, right? Agree? So that's something I had to work on it, and that's it. So this is your form. My intention is not to talk about any bootstrap classes. It's we already talked about it, but we struggled with it. Now we understood the concept. You take give first two columns to your label so that it will be aligned nicely, and this is looking much better, no doubt. Okay, now let's talk about the dynamism. Let's talk about the actual JavaScript stuff. So what do I want to do here? On button, once I click on it, on click, I want to call the validate method there, right? Now let's make sure it's really getting clicked. Hey, validate is called. Fantastic. Okay. Now, what is my requirement? The first requirement is that I want to make sure that the first name is not blank. Okay. So how do I get the value here? We can use our console to write some dummy code, and then we can take that code all the way to our HTML, right? So let's go to elements here, body. So what's the ID here? What's the ID of this guy? First name ID is first name, right? Okay, let's go and get that guy. How do I get the element there? Document dot get element by ID, and then using the first name. See here? Hey, give me the element with this ID, then it gave me the whole thing, right? Now, let's say, hey, can you give me the value that's entered out there? Value is blank. Now, I'll say test. Okay, and then let's execute the same. Now the value is test. So, are you guys getting it? I'm getting this field by ID, and then dot value will give me the value that's entered in this text box. Now this is what I'm going to use it in my JavaScript to see, hey, are you empty? If you are empty, I'm going to throw the error saying that I'll take out this alert and say that if document.getElementById.firstName.value is equal to empty, then we are going to alert saying that first name cannot be blank, right? And then we'll test it to see if it's working. Sorry. Right. First name cannot be blank, but if I give, hey, it's working. If I don't give anything, first name cannot be blank. Get it? That's how you do the validation. And in validation, you can definitely use the alerts. Or you can also do something else. Since using JavaScript, you can dynamically build the stuff. You can build some HTML, and you can display the error message on top of next to first name or on top of the first name. So one way to do it here is that, so we have the form here, right? Within the form, I'll say one more div, oops, sorry. Observe this one here. One more div here, I'm going to do it. But within this, I'm going to, let's say, I'm going to put h2. Okay, with some ID. h2 ID equal to, I'll say error message. Okay, do I have any message here? I don't have any message. Observe this one. I don't have any message, right? But what I'm going to do here is that using JavaScript, I can dynamically fill this guy, right? I can dynamically put some inner HTML here, right? Agree? So look at it. If first name is blank, then I can get document.getElement by ID error message, right? Dot inner HTML equal to first name cannot be blank. I can do this, right? Like that. Simple. Look at it. So this is a very popular style. So I want you to understand what's going on here. I put an empty div here. I put an empty h2 element there. Without, it does not have any HTML to start with. I'm putting some HTML dynamically. Is everyone with me? Is everyone getting what I'm trying to do here? Is it overwhelming or it's simple, or can one of you tell me? It's okay? Sure. So what I can do here is that this is too much for error. So I'll do something like h4 maybe. And then let's look at it. Yeah, first name cannot be blank. But the errors are typically in red color, right? So I'll say style equal to color equal to red. Okay? So I'm giving some style to this guy, but there's no content out there. I'm going to put the content dynamically using JavaScript. Look at it. First name cannot be blank. This looks much better, right? Right? And now, okay, this is about first name. We only talked about first name at this point. Now, let's do the last name. Same thing, right? Copy paste. If last name is also blank, then I'm going to do error message equal to last name cannot be blank, right? Oh, last name cannot be blank. What happened to my first name here? Can anyone tell me?
Overwrite, right? Overwrite.
Right. So let's go to.
I think it's overwritten by this message.
Yep. Let's go to. You're right. So let's go to element section. See here, there is a div here. This guy, error message, right? Inside the div, you have h4 error message. So by default, it does not have anything. First time with first name, you are writing here actually, first name cannot be blank, you are writing it. But immediately in the last name, you are again changing it dot inner HTML. You are again changing it to last name cannot be blank. So what's the solution? Can anyone suggest any idea? Any good reasonable solution to have both of them? Give different ID where? So you wanted to say h4 error message for first name, h4 ID equal to error message for last name, and then populate both of them differently? Yes, it will be too much because you are having too many things, right? Any other suggestions? It's a good idea. Definitely works, but it's too much. If you want to list out things, something like you want to go to a grocery store and you're putting your list. I want to buy like fruits, banana, apples, oranges, watermelon. Do you know how to show them in HTML? There is something called ordered list and unordered list. Do you know that? Anyone? There's something called
Yes.
ordered list will show as 1, 2, 3, 4, and unordered list will show with
Yeah.
dots, right? Right? So with the bullets, exactly, that's the right word, with the bullets. So what we can do is inside this H4, ID equal to error messages, style equal to red, we can keep it. Inside this H4, what we can do is we can create an empty unordered list to start with. Okay? And what we can do is we can put this ID to this unordered list. Okay? I can create this empty unordered list. Yeah, what is it saying? Oh, inside a H4 I can do it? Probably. Inside H4 I can do it because, okay, inside unordered list, I have an empty, right? So I have an empty unordered list in this one, an error message. So now tell me, first get this object document.getElement by ID error message, right? Right? Now, how do you want me to do it now? Let's say I'll create a variable called inner HTML or error HTML, right? I'll create a variable called error HTML. Okay. And now let's keep adding to that error HTML basket. So if first name is blank, then I'll say error HTML equal to error HTML plus whatever the empty one. First name cannot be blank, right? And then can I put an list item here? Every unordered list or ordered list will have inside it, you will have each element will have a list item there. I hope you know that. You know this part, right? List item. So it will show as bullets. Okay. And then I'm not immediately adding anything here. So first what I'll do is I'll construct this error HTML. So again, error HTML equal to error HTML plus, it's a simple code like we did this logic hundreds of times in Java, right? So again, I'm creating one more list item. Last name cannot be blank. So I'm adding various li elements, list item elements, and now document.getElement by ID error message dot inner HTML equal to, I'll give this error HTML. That's it. Agree?
I think you missed a semicolon on that.
Did I? Thank you. Yep. Thank you, Sailaja. Now let's look at it. Function F12. Hey, look at it. First name cannot be blank. Last name cannot be blank. Beautiful. That's exactly what we're looking for, right? And now, but the only thing is this UL ID equal to this one, and then let's put class, style color equal to red. Hey, first name cannot be blank, last name cannot be blank. We are writing this HTML dynamically. Within everything is happening on the front end, on the browser side. Nothing has gone to the server yet. Are you guys understanding the power of JavaScript? Yeah?
Yes.
So first name, last name. Let's say city is also required. I'm sure city is required too, right? So in fact, everything is required, right? City, state. Let's say city and state are not required. Let's say city and state are not required, but zip code is required. Okay. So zip code, where is that guy? Zip code. If zip code is having value, then I'm going to say zip cannot be blank, right? And now, hey, zip cannot be blank. Very good. Let's say in our case, city and state are okay. They're, they don't need to be. In a lot of cases too, first name, last name, and zip code, right? And let's say we're accepting age, okay? Let's say we are accepting something like age of the person, okay? This is for age, and then ID is age, name equal to age, like that. So then let's say age is also required. We can do the same thing. So if age does not have, then we are going to say age cannot be blank, right? Oh, sorry. Why? Okay. Oh, okay. It did not load fully earlier. So age cannot be blank. Now let's say, can I provide ABCD for age? No, right? This one has to be digits. And also, it can be 0 and it can be negative. It can be anywhere between 1 to, let's say, what's the reasonable maximum number for age? 120? 110 maybe? Yeah, 120. I don't think anybody wants to go more than one. I mean, right? I don't think anyone can live more than 120. So what can we do in validation here? If age is, so what I want to do is that I'll hold on to this whole, this element. I'll say variable age equal to, okay? I'll hold on to the variable and then finally I'll say age dot value equal to blank. Then I'll do that. Let's take a look at it and see if it's still working. Yes, it's still working. Now, if it's empty, then age cannot be blank. Else, what do we want to do now? Else,
we should check with the
we should
integer
check exactly. So how do we check that? There is a JavaScript function called to check if it's a number or not. There is a JavaScript function called. Anyone familiar with that? Anyone worked with this before?
is number, I think.
Is not a number. NaN is not a number. Not a number. If age dot value, okay, or we can say dot value here itself, so that we don't have to say this again. Dot value 100 times. Okay, right? So if age is not a number, or age is less than 1, or age is greater than 120, right? If any of this one, if it's not a number or less than 1 or greater than 120, in that case, what would this be? Invalid age provided, right? Age must be between 1 and 120. Agree? Like that, right? Yep.
Can we check the length of zip code?
Sure. Yeah. So age must be between 1 and 120. Yes. Tell me.
Yeah, how can we check the length of any integer or anything?
Yep. Let's go ahead and do that.
For
Uh,
GPU.
sure. Sure. In fact, this is kind of in line. This guy. If you say else if we can improve the code here slightly. Age must be, yep, 1 and 120. So this is good. Now, zip code. Let's say the zip code now. Variable zip equal to document.getElement by ID zip code blah. Right. If zip is blank, then it cannot be blank. Else, if zip dot length
Okay.
is greater than 5, right? Zip cannot be more than 5 digits. Okay. Zip, it cannot be more than 5 digits. So, but we did not check for lower, right? So if it is greater than 5, so we should check for, if it's not 5, then zip must be, we need to change it. Zip must be 5 digits, right? Zip must be 5 digits. And the point is, even this one works now. Look at it. So you did not look for a number, right? I mean, not a number. So you may want to look for that. Else, you may want to put else if, or you can combine. I'm easy. If is not a number, or zip dot length is not equal to 5, then you must say that it must be number. It blew. What happened? So looks like it broke. Let's look at the JavaScript. Okay. Oh, there is a else if. Look at it. This guy is complaining here. Uncaught reference is not defined. Okay. Else if or is non. Yep. Oh, E. Is not a number, right? Yeah. Is not a number, and then dot values if it's empty, yes. Else if or it's not a number. Let's do it. See, we can always check here. That's the beauty of it, right? So is none of zip. I know I did not define this guy. Is none not defined? Okay. Oh, is there any difference? I don't know. Huh? Did I fat finger? Oh, oh boy. N is a uppercase here. Oh boy, that's the problem. And Java is sorry, JavaScript is case sensitive like Java. Okay, so that's it. It's working. So NAN, boy. So I just copy pasted it. Even if I looked at it for 10 minutes, I wouldn't have. Oh, Samatha, thank you. Looks like you said it. Oh no, did you say for this one or for the previous one? Is NAN? Did you figure out that typo or it was before? Okay, good. Zip must be 5 digits. That's good. Okay, we're done. And now I wanted to say that this state, right, will go in just a couple of minutes. See here, it's a state here, right? So state, I want to put it, how many times do we put the state here, right? State actually generally not an input box, right? It's actually a select from, it's a select box, right? Drop down. So how do I create a drop down or select box here in HTML? So it's pretty simple. So what we can do here is that, where is your state? This is good. And now what we want to do is that there is a select, okay? And within the select, obviously you'll give an ID for select. What is your select state, right? And then you select your options here, your option, and then Michigan. Okay, some people are from Texas, and some people are from, what are the other states we have here? Virginia? Virginia folks? Maryland, I'm assuming? Yuri, you're from Maryland or Virginia? Maryland, huh? I'm assuming. And then anyone else? Did I cover all the states that we have here? DC probably, but that's okay. Anyways, so this is how we get this select box. MD is Maryland, okay. Oh, okay, I have not class equal to form control. Let me give that guy here. And then let me take out that text box. Beautiful. Look at that. Michigan, Texas, Virginia, Maryland. And now I wanted to tell you something. Maybe you guys already know about this one. What that one is? A lot of times we display Michigan, but once we submit the form, we send the value something else, something like a state code. We send MI to server, TX to server, VG, Virginia is VG, I believe, right? VG to server, and MD to server, right? So a lot of times what we display is different from what is the value of that particular checkbox. So that one we can achieve it using something called value. So value equal to, we'll say Michigan, sorry, MI, value equal to Texas in this case, and then value equal to Virginia is VG, is that right? Or anyone can correct me? Maryland, like that. Okay, so these values are different from what you see here. Values are under the hood. Okay, now let's say the first one, typically we'll say that please select a state. We don't want to default to Michigan. That's very that's not a good idea, right? We'll say select state, and the value will be for the select state will be empty, right? VA is Virginia. So look at here, select state, Michigan, Texas, Virginia, Maryland. So this is VA. Thank you. So this is Virginia. Everything good, right? Now, how can I say that? Let's say that I have a requirement that state must be selected. Okay. Or how do I get the whatever the selected option is, how do I get the value of that guy? Okay, how do I do that? So it's pretty simple. Again, we'll get this element. From this element, we will get the selected index. There is a property called selected index. We'll get the selected index. Using that index in this array, we will get that. So let me show you how we can do that. So this is for age, okay, and now variable state, right? State equal to document dot get element by age. This is the whole state, right? This is the whole state element. Now, whatever has been selected index, the first one, please select will have 0. This one will have 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Like we have array index, right? So I'll say selected index equal to state has a property called selected index. Okay, so we can print that selected index here. Console.log, we can do that. Hey, whatever the index that's been selected, index equal to, we can do this guy, right? I'm refreshing, and then F12, selected index equal to 2. See here, 0, 1, 2. If it's 0, selected index equal to 0. So you can do that. If the selected index equal to 0, then he did not select the state. You can definitely do that. Okay. Or if you want to get the actual description or the value of it, okay, you can definitely get it. How do I get it? Well, this is how you can get the description of it. So your select element dot, you have this options array. So within this options, you can get whatever the selected index is. Now you are getting that particular option. Now you can get both of them. If you want to get the text, you can get the text. If you want to get the value, you can get the value. Simple. Like this. So you can say variable selected option text equal to blah, and variable selected option, selected option value equal to, like that, right? You can print it. You can print that guy if you want to. But my point is that there is an options array of, in Java also we do that, right? If we have cars of 2, it will give you the third element in the array cars. So here options is array. Within that options, you are giving 0, 1, or 2, or 3, or whatever that index is, right? That's it. Now you can say Michigan, and then see here, selected index is 1, the text is Michigan, and the value is whatever we put it under the hood is MI. Now you can do whatever you want to do it, whatever you want to do it, however you want to do it. If selected index equal to 0, right, then you can add another element. You can add a HTML. We can add a extra HTML saying that state must be selected. That's it. And you don't need to do this one anymore. In fact, you don't need text, you don't need value, but if at all you need it, you got the point. Okay. State must be selected. Look at it. Agree? Test last name And now Michigan, zip cannot be 12365. Age cannot be blank 123. Age must be between, okay, age is 76. Hey, all of them are good now. The whole form is valid. At the time, you can submit it. We didn't look at the submit part, we know that, but the idea is the validation. Okay, I think we are way past our time. Any questions? That's all I have. We'll do how simply we can do some of these things using jQuery framework. Using jQuery, I'll show you that later. Any questions? I have never taught to this extent before. Is that helping you? Are you guys having fun? I'll talk about jQuery also, and then show you what exactly we did. We can do it much simpler using jQuery, and jQuery is much more powerful than this. We'll talk about a concept called Ajax. Okay? That's it. Yes, go ahead and digest today's class. Then I agree with you guys. Can't agree with you more on that. So, and then we'll see.
When will be the next class?
So, do you want to practice the Bootstrap and JavaScript so that I can?
Yes.
You want to do it? Then I'll take it on Sunday. I'll give tomorrow break and then we'll talk Sunday.
Okay.
You like that? Okay. Have a good night, everybody.